Hey everyone! Welcome back to my channel. I have some exciting news to share with you today. I've just launched 2 brand new YouTube channels. My new YouTube channels are here, Soccer for Coaches and Football Training with Top Coaches. I'd love for you to check out both channels. The links are in the description below and in the first comment, so make sure to subscribe and join our growing community. Your support means the world to me and helps us create even more amazing content.
Team function around him.
Don't forget
As you did hint, we are starting to see maybe traits of Xabi Alonso's Real Madrid. Definitely still early to tell. With just 2 games in and less than 15 training sessions under his belt, it's very much still a work in progress, but we're starting to see the results. Based off of that game against Pachuca, what can we say?
If you love what we do
are we seeing of Xabi Alonso's football? Anything that stands out to you? Any traits in the style of play?
I think obviously the reminiscence of Carlo Ancelotti's Real Madrid is still there. The directness at times, the quick play going forward, that is Carlo Ancelotti's Real Madrid on the counter-attack. But I think the difference of Xabi Alonso, you're starting to see maybe a few more patterns in play, maybe starting to see a few more triangles between the players. I think you can see almost they're building a connection between one another that was maybe a little bit lacking under Ancelotti last season. Obviously, it's very early to tell. I still don't think we've seen what Trent can do. I think he's almost, I don't know if it's nerves. We've barely seen him get forward in the first 2 games. He seems to almost like be holding something back in that regard. I don't know if it's nerves, I don't know if it's just his first couple of games for Real Madrid. He hasn't played badly. He's defended well, he's done his duties there very well. But going forward, I don't think I've seen him put in many crosses that we know him so well for.
Yeah, you and I both have seen a lot of him with Liverpool, and I'm sure many of those listening as well. And as you said, yeah, he's synonymous with almost constantly being in the opposition half, always switching the play, always putting in crosses. And yeah, we haven't seen too much of that, whether that is Xabi Alonso's instruction or, as you said, maybe just himself focusing on covering the back and not getting caught out going forward. But it was a 3-1 win for Real Madrid, despite playing with 10 men for about 85 minutes. A hugely impressive performance. The player said after the first game against Al Hilal that they're trying just to keep the ball as much as possible, not do too much running. And the fact they had to play with 10 men for 85 minutes and had to dig deep and run about, probably chase possession at times and not have as much of the ball as they would have liked. Really impressive from the team, and speaks a lot about the team's fitness, even after having such a short break. Elsewhere in the FIFA Club World Cup, Man City beat Al Ain 6-0. Salzburg, Real Madrid's next opponents, drew a stalemate with Al Hilal. Juventus 4-1, Wydad Casablanca, and then a goalless draw between River Plate and Monterrey. Fluminense beating Ulsan HDFC 4-2. And Real Madrid somehow avoided another South American upset. It seems like this tournament we're just seeing the South American, especially Brazilian teams, causing all sorts of upsets, and it's been very entertaining so far, the Club World Cup. It's been different.
I've enjoyed it. It is different. It's a different tournament that I think I've seen in my lifetime. Very different to the Intercontinental Cup that we see on a yearly basis. It feels like, obviously nothing else can feel like a World Cup, but it has that feel when you see underdogs like Botafogo beating PSG. That gives you almost that feeling of when a big gun loses in a World Cup group stage. And we're seeing these teams be competitive. There was a lot of talk before the tournament. What will the group stage will it be like? Will the European teams just run away with it? But we have not seen that at all. And we have seen PSG lose, who won the Champions League last year. If they can lose, anyone can lose.
Seen Chelsea lose to Flamengo. All sorts of upsets in the competition. Thankfully, not so far for Real Madrid, apart from that opening draw against Al Hilal, who were, it must be said, very, very impressive against Los Blancos. Next up, though, is RB Salzburg, the Austrian champions. And I know you've done your homework, Joe.
I always do.
What can you tell us about RB Salzburg?
Well, we obviously saw them in January in Champions League, in the group stages. Real Madrid very comfortable that day, 5-1 victors. But obviously, they're known as being the dominators of their division in Austria. Obviously not one of the most lucrative divisions in Europe, but they've done enough to qualify for this tournament, which is a testament in itself. They've been relatively impressive so far in the group stages. I mean, getting a point against Al Hilal is a great result for them, I think, considering how impressive they were against Real Madrid, which shows that this next game is not going to be any walkover at all.
And looking at the team, is there any players that perhaps we should be wary of, looking out for?
Well, obviously, Oscar Gluck is the standout player, scored in that first game against Pachuca. And one that's caught my eye recently is the goalkeeper, Christian Savishitsky.
Very well done.
Who's 18 years old and actually made his debut. Last week in Pachuca, but kept a clean sheet last night against Al Hilal, looked very impressive in those first two games. He's apparently played very well for the reserve team in the Austrian second division last season.
You tell me you don't watch the Austrian second division?
Well, it depends on my schedule, really. But no, he's looked very impressive and he could be a breakout star from this tournament.
Yep, so their draw last night took them equal on points with Real Madrid in Group H to 4 points. Real Madrid with a 1 goal better off in the difference. Al Hilal on 2 points and Pachuca 2 games, 2 losses, -3 goal difference. It's looking like at the moment Real Madrid could be facing Man City in the next round of the tournament. It seems like no matter the competition, no matter the circumstances, Real Madrid play Man City in every tournament every single year. What does that prospect look like for you?
I think that, I'm not sure on the scheduling for the last game, so I imagine that Manchester City play after Real Madrid?
Yeah.
Or they play after. So obviously who comes first and second in that Juventus-Manchester City group depends on that result. It could be that Real Madrid win the group, play against Manchester City in second, or the other way around, Manchester City win the group and Real Madrid come second. It's all up in the air. Obviously, Juventus would be the favourable tie.
Yeah.
But it's kind of out of Real Madrid's control. The only thing they can do is win that final group game. And I guess, I mean, Real Madrid have quite a lot of success against Manchester City over the last couple of years. Of course, they made a couple of signings recently, which could be a threat. But it's just intriguing. I think this is all part of this FIFA Club World Cup, isn't it? I mean, you see in the World Cup these big nations come up against each other in the early round. You see it in the Champions League. I mean, Real Madrid against Man City was a playoff tie in the Champions League last season. So it's not abnormal. And obviously, if you want to win it, you have to beat the best. So it will just be another hurdle Madrid have to overcome.
Looking ahead to Real Madrid's next game against RB Salzburg, we're seeing players come back from fitness, likes of Camavinga, Ceballos too, all coming back into the fray. Would you make changes? Antonio Rudiger too, now fit after his operation. Eder Militao. Would you make changes or keep that team that's pretty much been the same in the first 2 games?
It's a difficult one because this is always the debate when it comes to these sort of competitions, is that...
Do you prioritise fitness?
Do you prioritise fitness or do you prioritise consistency and getting a rhythm? And I think with it being the new Xabi Alonso regime, I think consistency is more important than anything. Obviously, the heat is tough. We heard Jude speak last night about the pitches being tough to play on as well.
Yeah.
But I think they have to prepare to play against a very good team in that last 16. It will be either Juventus or Manchester City, most likely. And that is absolutely no easy fixture. And they need to prepare, and I think the best way to prepare is to get this system going, get back into the rhythm of it. They haven't played obviously that Al Hilal game was getting started. Yesterday was with 10 men. That to adapt very well, but maybe wasn't how Xabi Alonso ideally wants to set up.
Yeah.
I think they need one more game, one more 60, 70 minutes in the tank, get the job done, win the group, and then maybe bring on some players to rest.
You are seeing Dani Carvajal in training too. Hopefully it won't be too long until we see him back on the pitch. It's been so long since that terrible injury for the right back, and that could open up possibly some more opportunities for Trent Alexander-Arnold. I think there's a chance we might see him playing in midfield. We know that both Liverpool and the England setup have tried that experiment.
I think that with the sending off with Cynthia, and obviously he'll be suspended for, is it the next game or next 2 games?
Next game, I believe.
Next game. I think we may see Xabi Alonso's 5 at the back formation. I think we'll see Rudiger come back into the starting 11. I think we might see Carvajal on that right-hand side of the 3, and we may see Trent Alexander-Arnold bombing forward. Obviously, that begs the question who missed out in the attack, because everyone played so well yesterday. You can't take out Valverde, you can't take out Gula on that right-hand side. So it's a dilemma, good dilemma to have. But I think we may see a 5 at the back in this final group game.
Well, looking at Xabi Alonso's Bayer Leverkusen team, one player that was integral to his setup was Granit Xhaka. And, you know, the kind of player he is, likes, you know, doesn't cover too much ground, but certainly, you know, likes to spray those passes, really stretches the play. That could be Trent, couldn't it, if you think about his qualities?
It could be Trent. I think that in midfield, obviously, he's a relatively unknown quantity. We've seen him for England. Very rarely for Liverpool have we seen him there. He's obviously got the passing quality to play there, but being a central midfielder is so much more than that, and we just don't know whether he possesses the quality. I have no doubt that he might be able to do it in the future, but at the moment in this tournament, I don't think it's the best option.
And a player we've got to talk about, our compatriot Jude Bellingham, had a fantastic game against Pachuca, albeit playing maybe a bit further back because of the sending off. Do you think that's his future at Real Madrid, more of an out-and-out midfielder, an 8, if you like, rather than where he played in his first season at the tip of the diamond in the number 10?
I think potentially, yes. I think that with the attacking quality that there is up front, Jude Bellingham is a great attacker. He's a great number 10. He finds spaces that other players don't find.
And he played almost false 9 a lot in his first season.
Exactly, and I think that he offers something in that attacking position that not many do in world football. However, if you do play him there, you sacrifice one of the flair players in Mbappe, Vinicius Jr., Rodrigo, and I don't know if Xabi Alonso is prepared to do that. And the beauty of Jude Bellingham is his versatility. He can drop back. We can still enjoy his quality back in midfield, where maybe we see more of his defensive side, his hard-working side, because he can get up and down the pitch. There is absolutely no doubt about it. And yeah, I think maybe this season we'll see him in a bit more defensive role. OK, so Joe, you are Xabi Alonso. You've already said you're playing a 5 at the back. Name me your team. I'm playing 5 at the back, obviously. Courtois in goal. Trent. Carvajal if fit. Rudiger, Huijsen. Fran Garcia, left wing-back. I think a midfield... That's where it gets complicated. Yeah, this is where it gets complicated, because we've got, I think, Tchouaméni, Valverde are not negotiable. I think they start in that midfield. And then that leaves you with 4 players to play. Obviously, you can play either another midfielder and 3 attackers like that, or you can play... We don't know how he's going to set up like that. Oh, no, it's only 3 players left, sorry. I didn't want to correct. Yeah, there's 3 players left, so you can play 3 in the attack, where you could see maybe Gula, Garcia, Vinicius Jr. You might see an extra man in midfield and 2 up front, where you can play maybe Gula or Bellingham behind Garcia, Vinicius Jr., Mbappe if fit, or Rodrigo. There's so many options. I don't think I can call it on that attacking front. But I think that is why we've seen a 4 at the back so much already, because there's so much attacking quality, there's too much to leave out. It's a hard call to leave out one of Bellingham, Gula, Rodrigo, Vinicius Jr. And I think that's why we've seen 4 at the back. I mean, the big question was, before and even after Xabi Alonso joined, was will we be seeing a 5 at the back? Will we be seeing a formation and a system identical to that of the one he utilised at Bayer Leverkusen? But it's not necessarily looking like the case, and he's said various times that, you know, it's not necessarily that important, you know,
the system that starts the game or the formation, because that will change throughout the 90 minutes. It will change upon the circumstances, you know. Of course, you know, you go a man down, you're going to have to change some things. And how important, we've said for a long time, Real Madrid have a lot of flexible players that can play across various positions. How important is that, you know, that diversity in both the system and the players that you're utilising?
So important. I mean, I just listed there in the starting 11 the amount of different players that can play in different positions, especially across the front line. You also have Valverde, who's been seen at right back. Obviously shouldn't be needed now that Trent is there. We've seen Camavinga at left back. We've seen Tchouaméni at centre back,
who's been brilliant at centre back.
Exactly. So I think that we could see so many options. We might even see in that back five Tchouaméni drop into that back five, so that he can utilise maybe Valverde and Bellingham as a two in midfield. There's so many options because of the versatility of all of these players, and I think that might have been a transfer strategy over the last.